All right, let's imagine for a second that Warhammer 40K isn't about armies and grimdark futures, but about machines, rides, vehicles of corruption. Now picture yourself in a showroom, all the Chaos Gods lined up with their latest models. Khorne's got his big, roaring monster truck. Nurgle's over there showing off his indestructible rust bucket that never dies, no matter how ugly it looks. Tzeentch has something experimental that's constantly changing colours and sprouting new features you didn't even ask for. And then there's Slaanesh, sleek, shiny, polished to perfection. The kind of car you don't just look at, you feel it in your chest, in your pulse. And when you take it for a spin, oh man, you don't want to stop. That's what Slaanesh corruption is. It's not a tool, it's not just a power-up, it's a ride you get addicted to. Now let's start with the design, because honestly, that's the first thing you notice. Corruption by Slaanesh doesn't just give you more strength or tougher skin. No, it remodels you. It's like an automatic body kit upgrade, except you don't have any say in the matter. You might wake up one morning and your skin looks smoother, your movements more graceful, your presence magnetic. People notice you, even enemies. And the deeper it goes, the wilder the design gets. Extra limbs, twisted but elegant horns, or features that make you stunning 1 second and terrifying the next. Think of it like a concept car that looks like a work of art but also has spikes on the rims. Beauty mixed with danger. It's corruption that makes you impossible to ignore, and honestly, that's the whole point. Slaanesh doesn't do subtle, but design is just the shell. Let's talk about what's under the hood, the engine, and this is where it gets crazy. The power you get when Slaanesh starts corrupting you is like a hybrid engine running on sensation itself. Pain, pleasure, fear, adrenaline, those aren't obstacles anymore, they're fuel. You don't just run on energy, you run on experience. Every strike in combat, every rush of speed, every sound, every colour, it's all feeding into your system. You become faster, sharper, more aware than anyone else. Reflexes so quick, it's like you're predicting the future. And the best part? It feels good. You're not grinding gears, you're gliding, like every motion is music, every kill is a crescendo. It's performance tuned to the max, where combat isn't just survival, it's art. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Most engines have limits. Push too hard, they overheat. Run too long, they break down. But the Slaanesh corruption engine doesn't stop when it overheats. It wants to overheat. The hotter it runs, the more it pushes you forward. And that's the trap. Because you'll never feel like slowing down. Every sensation you push into the engine makes it hungrier, makes it pull you faster. It's like a turbo that never shuts off, and once you've tasted that speed, going back to anything else feels unbearable. That's why once corruption starts, it's almost impossible to pump the brakes. And since we're talking about taking this ride places, let's cover the off-road features. Normal mortals hit pain, fear, exhaustion, and that's the end of the road. Their wheels get stuck, their axles snap, they can't keep going. But Slaanesh corruption is like switching to a suspension system that can handle anything. Pain doesn't slow you down, it drives you faster. Fear doesn't paralyze you, it excites you. Things that would normally wreck a human body become part of the thrill. You're going places no sane driver would ever attempt, across landscapes of agony and ecstasy blended into one. It's off-road in the extreme sense. You're not just surviving the terrain, you're addicted to it. The more jagged, the more brutal, the more twisted the road gets, the more exhilarating the ride feels. Of course, we can't forget the interior updates, because corruption isn't just body and performance, it's in your head too. Imagine climbing into your car and everything inside has been redone. The seats are softer but lined with thorns. The dashboard glows in colours you've never seen before. The sound system doesn't just play music, it vibrates through your bones. That's what happens inside your mind with Slaanesh. Your thoughts get rewired. Suddenly what scared you now excites you. What hurt you now empowers you. Your desires crank up from a whisper to a roar until all you can think about is more. More speed, more sensation, more excess. It's like your brain has been reupholstered in velvet and razor wire. You don't just want the ride, you need it. But let's be honest, everyone wants to know the price tag. Because there's always a cost, right? And this one's steep. At first, it feels like a free upgrade. You're stronger, faster, deadlier, you look better, fight better, and you feel invincible. But here's the catch. You're not in control anymore. You think you're the one with your hands on the wheel, but every time you give in to temptation, Slaanesh tightens their grip on the steering column. Until eventually you realize you're not driving at all. You're just the vehicle. The Dark Prince is the driver. And you're just along for the ride, burning yourself out until there's nothing left but a beautiful wreck. Now, if we're comparing it to the other Chaos God's corruption packages, the differences are clear. Khorne corruption is raw horsepower, no finesse. It's the monster truck, loud, heavy, smashing through everything. Nurgle's corruption is durability. You're a rusted-out tank that never stops rolling, no matter how rotten it looks. Tzeentch is the experimental prototype, full of unpredictable gadgets and shifting designs, never the same drive twice. But Slaanesh is the sports car. Low to the ground, sleek design, tuned for speed and sensation. It's breathtaking to look at, thrilling to drive, and impossible to resist. But it doesn't last forever. That ride will burn out long before any of the others. And when it does, it doesn't just stop. It crashes spectacularly, and Slaanesh collects the wreckage like a trophy. So what really happens deep down when corruption takes hold? You become a masterpiece of excess, a living work of art sculpted by temptation. Your senses are sharpened to impossible levels. You hear colours, taste sounds, feel emotions as if they were physical touches. You stop chasing simple victories and start chasing experiences, each one wilder than the last. But the more you feed it, the hungrier it gets. You become a passenger to your own cravings, pulled down a road with no off-ramp. And that's the cruel beauty of it. You don't fight the corruption. You embrace it, even as it tears you apart. And here's the wild part. Some people don't just stumble into this corruption, they choose it. Because in a galaxy that's nothing but despair, death and darkness, Slaanesh offers something no one else does. Feeling. True, overwhelming, intoxicating feeling. Where others promise survival or power, Slaanesh promises life turned up to 11. And for some, that's worth the cost. It's like test driving a car you know you can't afford and still signing the papers, because that one drive gave you a taste of something you can't live without. That's why Slaanesh is so dangerous. It doesn't drag you in chains. It hands you the keys with a smile. It says, go ahead, take it for a spin, feel what it's like. And once you're in, once you're flooring the accelerator, you realize the brakes don't work anymore. You're going faster, harder, deeper, and you don't care because it feels too good to stop. That's the moment you're hooked, and that's the moment you belong to Slaanesh. So what happens when you're corrupted by the Dark Prince? You're redesigned, rewired, re-engineered into something beautiful and terrifying. Your body becomes the show car everyone stares at. Your mind becomes the cockpit tuned for excess. Your soul becomes the fuel tank burning out at full speed. You get the ride of your life, fast, furious, unforgettable.